Hey, a week ago I showed you how I make my photographs. How I print them in my darkroom and then frame them. Fix little dust spots and all that. And it takes a lot of time for me to create one single photograph, several hours. The whole process is pretty complicated and difficult. Involves dangerous chemicals and poor ventilation. So while I was there, I started to think that does it make my work, these photographs, any more valuable, that the process is difficult? Or would they be of an equal value if it was really easy to make them? And then of course I thought that it shouldn't make any difference. Difficulty has no value. But then the more I thought about it, the more I started to disagree with myself. So I thought I'd introduce this idea to you and you can form your own opinion, and in the end we can all disagree. Disagreements are good. Without disagreements nothing new gets done and no new innovation happens. So disagreement is where creativity starts, so I like disagreements. But hey, before we go to talk about photographs, let's take a sidetrack and go somewhere else. Technology has made our life, generally speaking, much easier. It assists us in our everyday tasks. If you go to the grocery store, we don't need to take money anymore with us, or not even a credit card. We can just pay with our phone, and then it automatically takes care of all the transactions and everything. If we go to a new city or new country and we need to find our way around, we just type airport to the Google Maps and it gives us the driving instructions. And actually not only that, it takes us step by step there. So life has become much easier in those two examples, and that easiness is good. My groceries are not less valuable now that I can pay really easily with my phone. But then there are things in life that are not supposed to be easy. I was watching this documentary the other day on TV about this bloke who is a rock climber, and he climbed El Capitan, a rocky cliff in Yosemite National Park. And it was amazing to watch all the danger and difficulty, and the whole reason I kept captivated and watched the whole show was because of the danger and difficulty. Now had he used, say, electric winches to get him up, I don't think anybody would be interested. So danger and difficulty is a part of that activity, and without it, it is worthless. Sport in general is like that. If you can't go and assist yourself artificially, make your sport easier. Now I'm talking about competitive sport. Like if you are, say, a hockey goalie, you can't go and create humongously big shoulder pads so that nobody can score a goal. Like that kind of assistance and making your life easier would be against the rules, because certain amount of difficulty is part of that game, and we admire people who master that difficult task. So now we have established that there are things like paying our groceries or finding the way to the airport that are supposed to be easy. But then there are things that are supposed to be difficult, and difficulty adds to that value. Now then, let's talk about, are there things in between that are a bit more controversial? Music. It used to be so back in the days that in order to sing or play an instrument, it was really difficult. You need to practice years to tune and hone your skill, to be able to hold a tune or play on the beat. But now all kind of technology has come to assist that activity. We got auto-tune, which is a system or software that can put your singing right on tune. And that means that pretty much anybody can sing in tune.
It was like an ice skating rink.
Or if you are a drummer or a bass player and you can't really keep the beat, your playing can be quantized right on the beat. And those technologies have now entered to the live performance, so even live performance can be assisted. And that makes us think that is it less valuable if the musical performance is assisted or even created through these technical assistants, technical means. Now there was an interesting episode at the Paris Olympics when Celine Dion sang this amazing anthem. But later it was discovered that it was all artificial. Her singing was artificially altered to be right in tune. And the whole recording actually was pre-recorded and then edited, and then she was just miming. But she gave an impression of a live performance. Now I don't know what you think, but to me there's a certain amount of cheating involved, and it lessened the value of her performance in my eyes. I mean, she's Celine Dion, she's an amazing singer, and I don't even know why they did that. Did she really need to do that? But that's what's happening in music industry. And I find that helping technology to be a bit controversial. Now, what would be an extreme example of musical cheating? If you go and buy a home keyboard, say an electric piano or an organ, they typically have a demo button that you can press the button and hear the instrument play by itself a musical tune like this. Let's then compare that to this. The demo song was perfectly executed, no mistake, everything spot on. My Piano Man, on the other hand, it was all over the place, a lot of ambiguity, a lot of mistakes and errors. But honestly, which one do you think was more valuable or authentic or interesting? Yeah, so hey, let's go then to photography. Technology has changed it during the last 20-30 years totally. Now you don't even need to have a camera anymore to take a picture. A telephone is enough. And you don't need to learn anything about aperture or speed or depth of field or white balance. It's all taken care of automatically by your device. Artificial intelligence in every phone can make the horizon leveled and make sure that the model's eyes are in the golden ratio and the picture is taken when her eyes are open. So that leads to the question that, first of all, is it any more me taking the photograph or is it the phone? And then it also leads to the question that what is the value of that photograph? Anybody can take bright, sharp, glossy images with those devices. So what happens with the value of one single photograph? I think it's interesting to think about two different kind of audiences for those photographs. First, there are people who are into photography, not necessarily photographers, but people who want to study and enjoy the art of photography, want to look at photographs, submerge themselves into photographs. Now, I claim that many of these technology-assisted photographs leave them empty and cold. They all look the same. they all have technology sort of visible on them. They are crystal sharp, colors are saturated, and it leaves us looking for a human touch. And then for those of us who are not so much into photography and pictures as an art, there's so much images around us that it has become waste. Like every image has a meaning. Every image tries to sell you something, convince you about something, at least says, look at me, how great I am. And it becomes overwhelming. So it has become a nuisance. It has become like a little bit too much. And therefore, a value of a single image is approaching zero. In some cases, it's already negative, and I'd rather not see that picture. So my initial question was that, is this photograph now more valuable now that it was difficult to make? And after disagreeing with myself, I've come to the conclusion that difficulty adds value. So let me go to the extreme. I say that the fact that creating photographs is difficult, even dangerous, is a good thing. And the fact that I need to practice, learn the skill, go through blood, sweat and tears to become even a decent photographer, it's good for my work, and it makes my pictures better. It makes them more interesting. There's something about that hard work that shows in my pictures. Now, of course, it's not enough for photography to be difficult. If it was only difficult and there's nothing else in it, that would be worthless. But the difficulty shows in my photographs so that it improves them. Difficulty is a necessary element of photography, but it's not sufficient. It's an ingredient that is necessary, but it alone doesn't make photograph any better. So therefore I conclude that taking photographs with old gear, analog gear, then going to my darkroom, printing them, all that process, then framing them, makes them better. And if I would just haphazardly shoot pictures with my iPhone, those pictures would be of lesser value. Yeah, I don't know what you think about that. Does it make any sense? It's also not a discussion about digital versus analog. I see my digital friends who are really into photography going through their own struggles by playing with filters and learning the settings of their cameras and cherishing the traditional art of photography, now using digital means. So it's also pretty difficult for them, and that difficulty shows in their pictures because they are distilled. Their work is distilled through this work and dedication to the art. Difficulty is good, danger would be even better. And on that, it's good to end. Thanks for watching. Next time, something else.